So welcome to the nonpartisan Red Pill Men's Group. My name is Rich Procida, and also to the dating meetups. And also, if you want to register for these programs in the future, we're once a month, we do this book study. You can register at tinyurl.com/redpillmen. So, and also remember to share, like, and subscribe. We want to get this shared out to people, and so share it with your friends, share it on social media, like, subscribe to our YouTube page, and also on Facebook. And we're live on Facebook right now. We're also recording the meeting. It's going to be produced into a podcast, or it's on YouTube and on a radio station in Oregon. So let's go ahead and get started here. Pornography presents a threat to them. Mike, you want to come and talk to us about that, Mike? You want to say something about that? Because, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I just mean that the easy availability of pornography online presents a threat to women for the reasons that you just outlined.
Mhm.
And it's important to realize that.
Yeah, and it also presents a threat to, actually, believe it or not, the sex industry, the cam girls and the pimps, because they
I was
feel
gonna,
they're losing money, if because pornography is free, and they feel they'd make a lot more money if people had to pay. And so there's a economic motivation behind this propaganda. And a lot of you see the propaganda gets out there. We don't get out here. We talk about things, we talk about our truth, but we don't get a lot of attention. But people going out saying, oh, men need to give up pornography, they get all the attention in the world because there are financial interest involved. And I think what they really want us to do is to have to buy sex everywhere. Everyone, even women, will have to buy sex in the future. Um, that's what they would like, to commodify sex altogether. But yeah, I don't think pornography is a big a threat to society, although there may be some. There are some and people who are against it have their points of view. But the idea that somehow men need to be forced into compliance, that if they jack off, they're never going to get married. And it's, baloney, baloney. You
I
know,
was gonna say it's a sinful thing to have it around. They should block the whole sites of that nonsense.
Well, I don't think that would, first of all, you have the First Amendment. Not everybody's going to agree with you on that, Samuel. I don't agree with you on that, Samuel. I think sin is more of a social thing. It's about injustice. It's about exploitation and abuse. It's about war. It's about violence.
I
It's a,
think sin is a bad reputation because you need to repent and ask God for forgiveness. He doesn't like sinful things.
well, then again, he said to the woman, he forgave her, and at the prostitute, and said, go sin no more. But
Mm,
it wasn't like that was so offensive to God that God couldn't forgive that person for it, just like every other sin. But I'm
mm.
not really into this idea of personal morality. Sin is a social reality. Sin is about injustice, not about personal morality, because that really is about people feeling that they're better than other people, or that they feel, oh, I'm not being sinful. It makes them feel shamed or bad. Really, what's happening now in the world, that's sin. Killing people, bombing Ukraine, slaughtering Palestinians, killing Jews at a
Mm,
concert.
mm,
You know,
mm.
these are
Uh,
this is what sin is. This is sin.
mm,
It's not whether you masturbate or watch dirty pictures. That's
mhm.
not really sinful. That's just normal human behavior.
I find that a sinful nature though, because that's how I was brought up.
Yeah, so yeah, let's not worry too much about that here. Um, so the concept for the party on November 16th is to have is to try and get women to step out of their roles to, ask, buy guys drinks, get their number, go up and talk to them. And we're going to try and encourage them to spread the love around a little bit. We're going to give raffle tickets. Some guys will get 1, 2, or 3 raffle tickets, and the women ask them for buys them a drink or gets their number or asks them to dance or whatever, even goes up and talks to them. They get a ticket, and then they collect those tickets, and then they'll get a prize. And so if we can, but we need to get some money, raise some money to get the prizes. Probably might be a small event, but that's sort of the concept, to get us to break the mold, so to speak, of going into the nightclub and only the hottest, good-looking people get in, and then the women get in, and the guys don't, and then the guys have to pay, and the women don't, and then all the hot women are, everybody. So, yeah. So we're going to give it a try to do something new, do something different, have a singles event, and hopefully people will have fun at it, and not be too offended by it.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's the concept there. Thank you, Jay. We'll see if it works out or not.
Mm.
All right, do we have any other comments? I'm glad to see that we still had some people hang on, even though I fell off. Yeah, it should be fun. I hope it's fun. Go ahead.
To kind of present a viewpoint of, hey, pornography might not be the best thing for men as well, and it has nothing to do with religion. It has negative consequences for especially men who, when left to their own devices, may end up no good, obviously, but I think it can make things worse. And I know there's a huge push, especially with like NoFap community, for men trying to break free from, especially the addictive component of this activity. But I just want to throw that out there. So, I just wanted to say that to Samuel, that you can easily make and a sort of an anti-porn argument without invoking religion, just for mental health reasons. I think that's the 90% of what draws people to take up cause to maybe fight this new drug, as they call it. It's not like in the 80s and 90s where you had like all the sort of drug and alcohol sort of awareness. Now it's just more like the digital side, social media, porn, gambling. And so I think that is all kind of lumped together. And that's like the new drug in today's world. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. Some food for thought for you guys.
Yeah, I did a lot of work on pornography, and this is actually see if we can get this book in here, Social Issue, Global Perspectives on Social Issues, Pornography. That's my book that I wrote, part of my law school requirement. When I was in college at the University of Southern California, I had a mystical conversion experience in a women's studies class. The department was called the class was the Introduction to the Study of Women and Men in Society. And I have a vision a lot like Paul's vision on the road to Damascus, except I didn't hear anything, but the message was clear. Like Paul on the road to Damascus heard a voice say, "Why are you persecuting me?" He interpreted that to be the risen Christ asking, "Why are you persecuting Christians?" Well, in that context, I didn't hear that voice, but I saw that beam of light. The message was, why was I persecuting women? So I became a founding member of the Students Alliance for a Non-Sexist Society. I started an organization called a pro-feminist anti-pornography organization called People Against Pornography. I gave lectures and discussions and spoke publicly and at debates about the issue of pornography from a feminist anti-pornography position. And eventually I sort of learned a lot and changed my views. My views changed over time. And when I went to law school, I decided to put it all together and sort of put a cap on it with this book. So and part of the book was to say, hey, there are reasons. There's a lot more than just whether it causes sexual violence. There's whether it causes inequality. There's always the question of minority sexual groups and how they're going to be affected by regulation. Does it how does it affect relationships between men and women? And a lot of the material, there is evidence that obviously what we consume, what we read, what we see, what we hear, what we take into our senses has an effect on us. And the question is what that effect is. And with pornography, it has both positive and negative effects. The positive ones can be very obvious. The negative ones maybe not so much. So there is views for both sides on this issue. And that's what the book sort of has sort of a goal of doing, is to help people see both sides of the issue. Well, for me, what I find is that pornography is poor man's sex. A lot of guys are not getting anything, and this is how they get their sex. Don't take it away from them. It's the only thing they got. And it's also free and widely available. So we have to pay for sex so often. So often do we have to pay for sex. Thank God something's free. If you don't pay, you're forced to go to a strip club, you're forced to pay a prostitute, forced to pay a cam model. Cam models are just as addictive. You put this thing in, pornography, but are they saying, cam girls, cam girls, cam girls? No, they're not. Cam girls. There's a story of a guy actual guy who was spending $60,000. They spent tens of thousands of dollars on these cam girls. They get into some type of relationship with them, and this guy, his parents cut him off because they realized he spent like $60,000, and he was living at home. He ended up killing his parents and his brother, taking their credit card to go to a local Wi-Fi spot to communicate with the cam girl again. So yeah, you heard about this guy. Yeah, pornography. What about the cam girls? Are they somehow excluded from being harmful or sinful or whatever you want to say? They're not. They're making the porn. Really, in many cases, they're making the porn. So we need to look at this. Is it strippers that are keeping men from having relationships? If they would just stop going to strippers, they would have a relationship. Most of the guys who go to strippers are married, So we have to really think clearly. And when we pop up about pornography, we got to ask the question, well, why not cam girls? Why don't we say cam girls? Or why don't we say strippers are harmful? And we don't because there's money involved. We don't because it's not popular to say that, but it is a little popular to rag on pornography because it's got men jacking off, lonely men jacking off. And so it's easy to criticize that,
I find it makes people sick looking at it, though.
Well, I think it can, but maybe that's already there, right?
I know. The thing is, I've decided my one that I don't see anything good about it. I find it's negative.
I can tell you what some of the things that are good about it. One is it's a sexual stimulus.
That gets you anywhere with it because it doesn't help you in life.
That's not necessarily true. Look, if you don't have a partner and you want sexual stimulation, the good part about pornography is just that. It gives you an erection. It makes you feel good. It gives you pleasure. Those are positive aspects of pornography. It might be like if we restrict it, who's going to be hurt? So if they're really serious about ending commercial porn, all that would be needed would be to remove the FBI protections on other unauthorized duplication of the. That's interesting one. That's an interesting one, Mike. And then I suggest that addicted men should break free from porn without the legislation. I'm on this journey myself. It's no easy task. Well, I'll tell you what will help you break away from porn is if you get yourself a woman, get yourself a number of women. That's going to help you break away from porn.